Time to rest. You notice something strange by the front of your door, Haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter is clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There is no other information. It's like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Okay. I need to return to Agathon. Hold on. I need to... So... I think I'm gonna go... Fate and meet. You received an invitation to meet mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. Okay. Go to him first. Then I'm probably gonna go and talk with my Nosferatu. It would help to have an information gatherer with us. Accept. You haven't been to church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essential of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You quickly learn this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. The architecture meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory. Mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. Not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There is an old man sitting in front. You see only the back of his head, bowed in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off of him. He's tall, dignified, white-haired, balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into a cathedral. Only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. Welcome, my child. I've made a huge mistake. However, I'm curious. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that the kindness is not for the likes of you. You can tough it out. Whatever it is, you can tough it out with your vampiric abilities. Step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. Emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions. Away. The resilience of our vampiric body is the only thing affording you a momentary respite. Yet you know that it can't take much of this. Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. I'm sorry, Father. I'm so sorry. It's alright. Do you wish to pray? Taking a closer look at you, the priest realizes how much you're struggling to simply stand there. Are you one of them? Simply too much to you mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire. An undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow. The night air is wet with the smell of the city, the same as every night. How did it feel? How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if a little archaic, dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Did you do this to me? No, absolutely not. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Benoit offers his hand to you. You shake his hand. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit appoints a park bench nearby in darkness because of a broken streetlight. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, how you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrate this little setup. Why did you invite me? What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I want you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? Well, at first I thought it was because I was in the church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest. I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his fate that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what is this all about? Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know about being a vampire, what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? There's no natural explanation. No, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it. Maybe there is. I don't know it either. But I know that Father Anthony's fate is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical about it. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know fate is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about fate and our kind. Yes, what are we? There is the usual story which most of us believed, especially before modern times. Okay. Cain was the first murderer. As punishment, God cursed him to walk in darkness and carry his mark. Cain passed on his curse and he drank blood of the living, and thus we were born. God's curse passed on to someone new with each embrace. Maybe it's true. We all have our lineages. Our sires and the sires of our sires. If you trace those lineages all the way to the top, you find Cain, the original vampire. Is he Sabbath? I suppose God is cruel. The curse perpetuates itself, leading to new evils. This is a lot to take in. All these myths, hard to know what to believe. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have the conviction inside them. This is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity? Benoit nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadows of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy, you know it to be true, but what does that mean? The hunger calls to you. The city skyscrapers, the seemingly never-ending sprawl of the boroughs, it's all a prison. You need to get out. You need to take back control of your life in this instant. The memory of your sire's frosty blue eyes mocks you. The tempts you to show your dominance. Prove you have the guts to take what you want. Feeding, that's just the thing. Coaxing, no. Ordering a mortar to bend to your will, drinking deep from their lifeblood. Faces pass you by while you look some ravishing than others. Any would do right now. You compose yourself. Your rational mind, fearing a blatant breach of the masquerade, temporarily holds over the beast and its compulsion. Calming yourself in a small victory in and of itself, this semblance of command will have to do for now, but it won't last. You need to quench the hunger before it overtakes you and make you lose control. How do I... Ah, shit. This is gonna be close. Okay. It's time for the Nosferatu. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-like fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it, a faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door cracks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, completed with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and paper shattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly, it hits you. That nagging feeling is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder, the barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess, took a wrong turn at the third silo. Attempt to talk down the assailant. Decide to play along. Raising your arms slowly, you weigh your next words carefully. You're pretty sure a bullet to the back won't kill you, but it doesn't sound too pleasant either. How about we talk like civilized kindred? How about you lower the gun so we can talk like civilized kindred? Oh, I am plenty civilized, see? You can feel the barrel digging deeper into your back. Double action, carbon steel framed. The finest handgun your hard-earned money can buy. Doesn't get much more civilized than that. If you're gonna shoot me, you might as well give me the courtesy of looking me in the eye. For a few seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. You know what? Fair enough. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind the desk. Seeing him in his full, the lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described them, you were expecting something grotesque, some grotesque monstrosity. But this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. Nah, he just looks like a normal hobo to me. So, what brings you to my humble office? You the one they call D'Angelo? That's my name, kid. That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jin, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office. I can... Charming. I can see why Kadir keeps you around. His expression sours. Not a name you wanna casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however. I know. I'm here to help. The Red Hook murders, I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile. Do you now? D'Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds, he sits motionless, with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly, he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then, he throws it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced. A lot. In front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. But hell, maybe this town finally got to me. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. Offer him a light. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look, then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. I could use an assistant, someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows, if you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement. Sounds good. Sure it does, kid. I'm the one who said it. Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or, in layman's terms, who do you work for? Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got here, Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. So you're one of the... Huh? So you're the one, huh? The fledgling Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that will make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid. So she doesn't like me using her name, huh? Maybe I shouldn't use it that often. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving. Alright, moonlight's burning, let's get cracking. With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, instantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequent streets. There is definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn of Von Brandt Street and into a particular dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him. Drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body. So I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me? You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline of the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. And you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign of the wall that reads, "The blood speaks," in big crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. How come there's no... You say the victim was drained dry? Because I don't see a trace of blood anywhere. Good eye, kid. It's the details that count. And given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that the killer was Kindred. Bingo. Only a Kindred could drain a human this quietly. But not just any Kindred. Take a look at the graffiti. What do you think that means? Wait, what the graffiti? Show me again the graffiti. The blood speaks. Wait, crooked letters. Desperate, yeah. He was afraid. My thoughts exactly. As if someone wanted to get the message across, but was too scared to stick around and write the whole damn book. So we got the abridged version. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? Do I even know anything about the blood speaks? Tremere would never do this shit. Team Bloods, I don't think. Malkavian most probably. Maybe it's a Malkavian serial killer. They're pretty nuts, right? Nah, kid, the Moonies can be a bit playful. But there's a method to their madness. Leaves a certain aftertaste. This right here, it just reeks of desperation. Yeah. I mean, for the character also works. He never heard of Team Blood, so there was no way he would know about them. Might just be the conclusion, but my money's on the Team Bloods. He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a cigar. Shit, looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit. The fuck do I know about the Team Blood Primogen? Larson, the Team Blood Primogen? How the fuck do you know about him? No, Larson, the bicycle repairman. Of course the Team Blood fucking Primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'll be doing him a favor if it turns out to be one of his violating the Masquerade. It would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And it means shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness the other Primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is, but Team Bloods have a Primogen in the council in New York. I didn't know about that. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, he lightens up a fresh cigar, takes A puff, and as the smoke escaped through his crooked smile. Alright, kid, let's get this over with. Compared to the industrial ugliness of the Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavy, gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It almost seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost you notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Team Bloods aren't really vampires. Okay, kid, we gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions. You rang. Belor gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss of letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know. Sounds like the two of you have some history. Sounds about right, but that's a story for another time. Right now, let's stick to why we're here. Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit up windows seem like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His and no one else's. You're trying to come up with a viable strategy. You are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from. As a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. Not the best place to feed. Okay, I need to check again. Need to get out without making a fuss or letting his family see us. Yeah, I think a small rock at the window would be safe. He's a guy. Someone, yeah. Please work. You kneel down and pick up a rock on the lawn. One small is enough to break glass, but big enough to get someone's attention. Yeah. Definitely check the rock at the window. It points off the glass with a quiet but audible thunk. Moments pass in silence, making you think no one gets your messages. As you start to look around for another rock, you hear the window slide open. A very unamusing and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck appears at the window. As soon as he notices you, his expression sours, like he just smelled something rotten. He addresses your Nosferatu partner in what could only be described as a very loud and very angry whisper. Get the fuck out of my... Oh. Now everything makes sense. Why everyone hates him. Fair enough. Was I sleeping while I talked with him? He didn't say anything about the Team Bloods. I thought he was Malkavian. You know damn good well better to show your ugly mug around here. You glance over D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. We wouldn't have bothered you if this wasn't important. Carl, stay where you are. In the end, I did the right thing talking with him. He went out in the lawn, listening to Larson quietly making his way downstairs. Before long, he appears on the porch, locking the front door behind him. He motions at you to follow him off to the side of the house. There, he turns towards you. What do you want? It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Bullshit. A Dustborn got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade? Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages, whoever they are. I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching, trying to find the scapegoat. Get in your boss's good grace. Words get out, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for? Say, then help us clear your name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. What if it turns out one of yours did it and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around, counsel my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deduction to yourself. I have enough troubles as it is. Deal. Good. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple of blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm in a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tell you your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not as much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on your own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. All in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at the office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. And bring a notebook. Every good assistant should have one. I'm his assistant. The hunger calls to you. The city skyscrapers. Same thing?